A 3-day, 2-night hike up Mount Rinjani is not a place you want to go unprepared. In today's video, I will be taking you through my entire packing list of what I brought to hike Mount Rinjani and giving you my best recommendations of what you should bring along and what you should leave behind. So let's jump in. So there are a few avenues of approach you can take when it comes to packing for Mount Rinjani. You could slap on your favorite penny loafers and grab 2 sticks of gum and a sparkling water and head on up the mountain with nothing more than a selfie stick in your man purse full of hopes and dreams and try to complete Mount Rinjani. Or you could load up a shopping cart sized backpack with pretty much everything from your in-laws' senile cat Bartholomew all the way down to your kitchen sink and hire a local tow truck to haul your overloaded ass up the mountain. Or you can simply follow along this video and let me do all the heavy lifting for you and show you all of the things that you will need on the hike and help you leave behind all the ones that you don't. I mean, I already hiked it. So save your spine and your freshly polished penny loafers and let's get you packed for success. So I have categorized this list based on gear, clothing, food and water, and basic essentials like toiletries and first aid. First thing on our list is going to be a backpack or a rucksack. In order to go up the hill and bring your items, you will need something to carry all your stuff. So we'll start off with your backpack. You have many different choices of backpacks. A large one like this is the one I used. It's a 60-liter top, 20-liter bottom. It is huge overkill for a hike like Rinjani. I use this bag as opposed to this little guy. Not only because I can take a little bit more stuff and a little bit more water, is this bag, the heavy one, has padded shoulder straps and a padded waist belt. This is comfort for long-term hiking. As we're a small bag like this, it's basically a book bag. It's just 2 little straps, very thin padding, no waist belt. Carrying it for 3 days with water and food and your gear in it, those straps are going to start to cut into your shoulders. And it gets very uncomfortable. So knowing that I will be carrying this bag for 3 days, I opted to go with the bigger bag with the comfort. It has a built-in back support, so it's a very rigid bag, and it also has a rain fly cover, which is one of the main things you should look for in a bag if you're gonna hike Mount Rinjani, or any mountain in a place where it could rain anytime, which is literally anywhere. So the main essential things you wanna look for in a backpack is gonna be comfort for long distance hiking. A padded waist belt, good solid shoulder straps with good foam padding, ideally with top adjustments. These ones have a pull handle on the top of each strap that adjusts the distance from your back to the bag. If the bag is loose, it will hang off your back and it will bounce while you walk. If you have a bag with these adjustments, you simply pull the strap and it pulls the bag towards your back and makes you as one. You want to be uniform with the bag so the bag doesn't bounce. On a short distance, you won't notice it. On a long distance, a bouncy backpack will give you a bad back. It's very uncomfortable, it's painful after a while, and it's just all around not fun. Do your research on your bags. Look for a bag with lots of adjustments that's good and solid and has some anchor points to hook on things like these little plastic carabiners. For a heavy load, you're not going to use these. They're not climbing carabiners. These are just for hanging small items off your bag like a little water bottle, or in my case, my sandals. I can hook these on to the loops anywhere and quickly attach my sandals or a small bottle first aid kit. Because they're plastic, they're very lightweight and you won't even notice they're there. Something else you may want to bring along is a dry bag. It's just a plain waterproof bag that folds over on top. You can put all your electronic items in them should it rain. You can also put your clothes in there to keep them dry if it rains. But if you're outside hiking on a bright sunny day, I choose to do the opposite with my dry bag. If it's sunny outside and there's no clouds in sight, I am not worried about my clothes getting wet in the rain. If the clouds start to blow in, I will see, and then I can put my clothes in the dry bag. But what I do for a hike like Mount Rinjani, I'm gone for 3 days. My main priority of items is water. That is the #1 priority. You need water. I'm bringing a lot of extra water with me on a hike like this because the porters supply about 3 liters a day. Rebecca and I go through a lot more than that. I brought an extra 15 liters. I took 9, Rebecca took 6. So if I fall down, for example, and land on my back, and even one of those water bottles break open inside the backpack, now I've lost a bottle of water, or multiple bottles if I break more than one, and everything in my bag just got soaked. So if it's a nice sunny day, I'm gonna empty out my dry bag, my waterproof bag, and I'm gonna put all my water bottles inside the dry bag and seal it. That way, if I fall down and I break open a water bottle, all my clothes are still dry, because the water is contained inside of its own bag. And then I also don't lose my water, because if the water spills in the bag, I still have a bag of water. It may not be the most sanitary thing in the world. Yum yums. But if I'm absolutely parched and thirsty and I'm out for 3 days and I have a bag that had bottled water in it, I'm gonna drink the water out of the bag every time. I'm not saying I recommend it, I would do it. It's also a great idea to bring along a waterproof phone case because you're gonna have your phone with you. Phone's pretty lightweight for taking your pictures and videos, but if it rains and you're climbing, it's nice to not have your phone not only in the rain, but not in your hand. You're gonna have to climb and it's gonna be slippery even when it's dry because you're sliding on rocks and sand. With a waterproof case, you can put your phone in the case, hang the case around your neck, put it inside your jacket, and then you have your hands free. If it rains, your phone is protected, and if you need to pull your phone out quick for a picture or video, it's hanging around your neck, easily accessible. Definitely recommend a waterproof phone case. Next on our list is essential footwear. You are going to want hiking boots. Yes, it can be done in sneakers. Everybody seems to, wonder if you should bring a hiking boot or if you should get a big boot or a short boot or just wear a sneaker or what's the best option. That's going to depend on the person. Personally, I would not do it in sneakers. If you roll an ankle up there because you have a sneaker and no ankle support to protect you, you are in a world of trouble. Rescue is likely not coming. Like the girl that we had to help when we hiked Mount Rinjani in the other video. If you get hurt, you're relying on good Samaritans to help you get down the hill. And if they're not around and you have a broken ankle, you are going to have a bad time. So wear a hiking boot. You're way better off in the long run. Even if it is a brand new boot, you can break in a brand new boot on the mountain. Just wear your double socks, thin inner sock that comes way up on your thigh like I mentioned in the Mount Rinjani video. Put a merino wool sock over top. It'll protect your feet and you're going to be just fine. As long as you take care of your feet, when you have a break, pull your boots off, pull your socks off, put some powder on your feet and dry your feet out, you're gonna be just fine. But I definitely recommend wearing a hiking boot, not a sneaker. It is very slippery and very steep, and a sneaker does not have the traction or the support of your ankle to protect you if you trip and fall. So be smart, wear a boot. The second form of footwear I bring are a lightweight pair of flip-flops. I like the flip-flops because every time I stop for a break and take my boots off, I can take my socks off, put my feet in my sandals or my flip-flops and let my feet air out. And at night when we're at camp and you don't want to wear the boots that you've been sweating in all day, you can just throw on your sandals and walk around camp. It's so much easier. So bring your sandals. Now we move into clothing and outer layers. Protection from the weather, you're going to want a rain jacket, ideally with a hood and waterproof zippers, because if you have your electronics or your items or your toilet paper in your pockets, you don't want that stuff getting wet. You don't want to wipe your bum with wet toilet paper, trust me. It's not a good time. I recommend bringing cargo pants because they have pockets and storage for lots of quick access items like your snacks or your toilet paper or even small cameras, extra batteries, your flashlight or your headlamp. All that stuff can easily fit in your pants pocket and it's less weight in your backpack. One thing nice with the cargo pants I brought, they are zip off like the old school ones. They're pants during the day and party at night. So you zip the legs off when it gets too hot. And the shorts on the bottom. When it gets cold, put them back on. And now you have full-length pants and an extra layer of protection from the wind and the elements. And also to protect your legs if you trip and slide down rocks. I would rather slide with pants than shorts. I would recommend one t-shirt or one strap shirt, tank top for during the day when it's hot outside. But if you're going to be having an amount of weight in your backpack like I did, I recommend a thin, long sleeve sweater because it will cover your entire shoulder. And when you start to sweat, you will have a layer of protection on your skin. Because when your skin gets really wet and sweaty and a backpack rubs on it all day, it will cause blisters and tear the skin off, and it's just a headache you don't need. You have to protect yourself. You will also want to bring a pair of shorts, and for the girls, you're going to want to bring a bikini if you like to swim, because if you do the 3-day, 2-night hike like myself and Rebecca did, you're going to get to swim on day 2 in the Crater Lake and go to the hot springs. I brought a very thin pair of breathable shorts that dry really easy. I wear them all day long, so if you sweat a lot, which you're likely going to because it's hot as shit at the bottom of the hill, your shorts will breathe and dry out while you walk. Plus you can wear them in the water and you haven't got to worry about putting on wet shorts and being soaked for the rest of the day because they will dry on their own. And a bikini or swimsuit for the girls, whichever one you wear. And when you get out of the water, you can just wring out the water from your suit, attach it to a carabiner and hook it on the outside of your backpack, and the sun will dry it while you walk. It's perfect. For backup clothes, I would recommend bringing one extra suit of clothes, whether that be thermal pants and a thin thermal shirt for wearing in your sleeping bag at night, because it does get very cold at the top of the hill. You're talking around 0 degrees and potentially a lot of wind like we had.
It is really cold. You need a puffy jacket, a hat, and gloves.
But you're going to want something to wear in your sleeping bag. It is going to get chilly. The sleeping bags aren't extremely heavy like some of the ones you may get in Canada or the States for cold weather climates. They are sleeping bags, but they're not rated for no -50. I brought one extra shirt, Whether it be a t-shirt or a strap shirt is completely up to you. You can put your puffy jacket on over top, which is our next item, and then you will be comfortable in your sleeping bag. And if you bring your thermal layers, it's a little bit of extra weight, but they are really comfortable for sleeping and they will keep you warm. And the puffy jacket, that's one of those, it's kind of like a fluffy down jacket, but it rolls up into a tiny little pouch like this, and it just fits in your pocket. It is extremely lightweight and very, very warm. So you can wear that underneath your rain jacket at the top when it's cold and windy. You have your t-shirt, your puffy jacket, or your thin sweater in your puffy jacket, put your rain jacket on over top, then you have 3 or 4 layers from the elements. It will keep you warm, and when you start to sweat, you can just take off a layer, put your jacket back on. And then your temperature can stay regulated so you won't overheat or freeze. Now, as for accessories, as in glasses, hats, gloves, I recommend all 3. 2 hats. You're going to want some sort of a thin hat or a boonie hat or a ball cap, something to keep the sun off your head while you hike. Because at the bottom it's so hot, you don't want the sun baking on your head all day and run the chance of getting heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Not a good time. A hat is a definite recommend. I brought one and I wore it the entire day. Plus I have a bald head. Well, a little hair today, but generally a bald head. I would get a very bad sunburn. So if you have a bald head like me, bring a hat. At night, you're also going to want a winter hat because it is quite cold. When you're walking around outside the camp after you sweat all day, you are pretty chilly. And when you go to bed, it's also pretty chilly. So if you have a winter cap, you're going to be comfortable. And up at the summit, you're definitely going to want the winter cap because it is freezing. As for glasses, I recommend 2 pairs. Sunglasses for during the day when it's sunny, but at the top of the mountain, you're going to want ski goggles. A form-fit seal to your face, because if you have sunglasses, even safety glasses like I did, all of the rocks will blow behind your glasses and go in your eyes, and you will spend the entire hike wiping dirt and rocks from your eyeballs and your nose and everywhere else. So ski goggles for the top of the hill, sunglasses for the bottom. You're also going to want a mask. One of those little COVID masks.
I can't see. Turn the lights on.
Don't waste your time. Get a full face mask, something that completely covers right around and ties up at the back ideally. That's going to keep the dust and the rocks that are blowing around in the wind from smashing you in the face and keep the dirt out of your mouth and your nose. And then you can also tuck the scarf down inside your neck. I recommend a shemagh, anything that's long enough to cover from your nose and your glasses all the way down to your neck and tuck inside your shirt. That will keep the wind from blowing up underneath and getting rocks in your mouth everywhere. Rocks don't taste as good as they look. Next on the list is electronics. I brought basic electronics for the most part, and then 1 bonus item. I brought my cell phone and a battery bank to charge in case anything happens. It's great to have a battery bank. I also brought a very small Insta360 X4 camera. This will shoot 4K and 8K 360. So as long as the camera is on, it shoots all the way around, up and down. In case you don't get a good shot looking forward, you'll have footage to pick from. This is very small and very light and fits in your pocket. It's great if you need to pull a camera out really quick and take a shot. And there's also the option of this selfie stick that's so long you could literally reach out and poke your friend from another time zone.
What the fuck?
I recommend this one as well. This is the 3-meter selfie stick for the Insta camera. You can buy them online, but they are a little expensive. But you can get drone-like footage because it extends almost 10 feet. So if you stand and put your arm up like this, with your camera on top, you have a lot of reach. You have the height of your body, plus your arm, plus almost 10 feet of stick. So you can get drone-like shots with the selfie stick. I also brought a drone, which I kind of regret and I kind of don't. I got wonderful camera footage in one area, but the rest of the trip was too windy to fly the drone. So I had to carry the drone and the kit and the accessories and the batteries for the whole trip, and I only got a few shots in the very small window we had where it wasn't too windy. So drone is a hit or miss. If you're in it for the footage, definitely bring the drone. Because if it's nice to fly, you will get beautiful shots and beautiful videos. Otherwise, I would bring the Instacam. And your cell phone for, you know, your selfies and Instagram. Also for electronics, it's a great idea to bring a headlamp and at least 2 extra sets of batteries. I have just a small headlamp. It just takes 2 AAA batteries. I brought 6 batteries. 2 fresh ones in the camera when we left, and because the camera is on your head and exposed to the wind and the cold, the batteries die very fast. Halfway to the summit, I had to stop and change batteries already because it was so cold. I would recommend at least 2 extra sets of batteries. You want to see where you're going when you're climbing. Some of the guide groups do offer headlamp rentals. Some of them are good and new. I think a few of the ones that our guides had were brand new LEDs and they were actually pretty bright, but I have heard rumors that some different companies have older style headlamps. They may be incandescent bulbs, not that bright, not that good, and some people have said you are better off to bring your own. I recommend bringing your own headlamp and extra batteries. Save yourself the headache. If you have your own light, then you don't have to worry about it. Now we move into food and water. As I said, you are provided with 3 liters a day by the guides in the group that we had. We go through way more than that, so we brought an extra 15 liters. We ran out and actually had to get an extra 2 or 3 bottles of water from the porters just to get us through the last day. And the last day we went through a lot of water because we had to carry a person down the hill, which required a lot of extra effort and a lot of extra sweat came out. I strongly recommend to pick up an extra 3 1.5 liter bottles and have 1 extra per day. In the heat, with that kind of hiking, it is very easy to go through those 3 liters. A lot of people in our group did actually go asking for more water because it wasn't enough. Whether that be in the form of 3 water bottles or 3 1 liters, 3 1.5 liters, or even like we did, we had a 3 liter hydration pack, which is great because you can sip on it all day. You don't have to hold a bottle while you're climbing. The Camelback attaches to the outside of your bag, or you can put it inside if you want, but at least you just have a hose over your shoulder. You can climb with your hands, and when you're thirsty, you can just grab the hose, have a sip, and then you have your hands to climb. There were a few times we just carried our water bottle, and then we would have to stop, put the water bottle away, so we could climb with our hands, and it's just a headache. The hydration pack is so much easier. But I would recommend bringing some small glue patches if you are going to bring a hydration pack and rely on that as your main water storage, because if you puncture a hole, you lose all your water. So maybe a small glue patch. That way if you get a hole, you can fix it in the field. It's very easy to do. It's like sticking a patch on an air mattress. It's very easy. One item I wish I brought and I had on my list to bring, but unfortunately forgot, was electrolyte powder or Gatorade powder. I looked for it while I was in Bali and I looked again in Lombok and I could not find it anywhere. Definitely bring some with you. At least put a few spoonfuls in a Ziploc bag, throw them in your backpack, and then during the day when you start to get low energy, you're going to want to throw the electrolytes in your water and sip on that and help keep you sane. We use it at the gym all the time to help, especially on leg day. The amount of food supplied is insufficient. Very, very insufficient. For us foreigners who are used to eating way larger portions, I would recommend bringing at least 1 extra meal ration, a dry pack, if you have accessibility to hot water to be able to mix your meal. Otherwise, you're going to want to bring some sort of food sustenance that doesn't need to be prepared. Beef jerky, extra things like sugars and a few cookies. That way, if you start to feel mentally down from the drain of walking, you can have a cookie and it's a little mental pick-me-up. Cookies make everybody feel better. I love cookies. Rebecca also loves cookies. Something you want to prioritize with food though is high-fat content foods. Peanuts, trail mix, cashews, anything of the sort. I even brought a small tub of peanut butter because it's very high fat content. Your body pulls energy from fats, so it's good to have those extra small fat sources with you that you can just snack on throughout the day. It's very simple to throw a bag of trail mix in your pants pocket of your cargo pants, and as you walk, you can just snack and have a constant supply of fats coming in while you walk. Helps keep your energy up, and it's a nice little mental boost having a snack as you go. Food makes everybody happy. Comfort foods is also something that you're definitely going to want to consider. Whether it's some candy, some flavored Mentos, some cookies, Oreos, whatever is your go-to snack. Bring some of that stuff with you. When you start to feel down and your team starts to feel down, share some Oreos with everybody like we did. Makes everybody feel better. It helps you get through the day. Because after all day, I guarantee, no matter how advanced of a hiker you are, at the end of the day, you are going to be exhausted and probably a little cranky. Maybe a lot cranky. And to have a nice little comfort food is a big pick-me-up. It got us through. Plus, if you have some candy, you can just stick them in your pocket, and as you walk along, you can keep your sugar levels up by snacking on some Mentos. I ate 4 packs of Mentos, or maybe 5 packs of Mentos in 3 days. They're delicious. Next on the list is first aid kit. Do not leave without it. It doesn't have to be a complex first aid kit. You can bring one of those little order online ones that have some band-aids and gauze and maybe some surgical tape. It doesn't matter. Bring something. Anything is better than nothing. You do not know what will happen when you're up there. From a scratch or a bump or a bruise to someone breaking their ankle, it could be anything. I recommend at least bringing a triangle bandage, some waterproof band-aids, some gauze, some tape. Simple things. A very small first aid kit and a pair of scissors to cut your tape, or a small pocket knife, something you can use to cut the tape or the gauze. Or if you have some string, I use 550 cord, it's called paracord. I always keep that with me because I can use it to improvise an arm sling or a leg splint like we used when we were on Mount Rinjani. It's just a piece of string. It doesn't weigh anything. At the end of the day, if you have sweaty clothes, you can tie your string to 2 branches or inside your tent and use it as a clothesline. So, basic first aid kit and some string or paracord. Next up is your toiletry bag. Extremely simple toiletry bag. We brought 1 small travel toothpaste between us and 1 toothbrush each, and we each brought 1 stick of deodorant and 1 bottle of foot powder between us, or baby powder, just a tiny little travel bottle. That way you can take care of your feet. If you don't want to bring all these extra items, team up with some of the people that you are going on the hike with the night before and decide what kind of items you would like to bring. And then if it's something like foot powder, 1 small foot powder is enough for everybody on the team. Everybody doesn't need to bring one. You only need 1 bottle and you can share it. It's just a shake of powder, wipe it on your feet, and it's done. That's what we did. We brought 1 foot powder and we shared it. Very small, simple toiletry bag, and that was all we brought for toiletries. Actually, I think Rebecca may have brought a small hairbrush, but that's a personal choice. The last thing on the list is going to be bonus items. Things that are a little comfort if you want them, but you don't have to bring because it's extra weight. So it's going to be the trade-off of how bad do you really want that item when you get up there, and do you want it bad enough to carry it on your back for 3 days? Because every single day, even though your bag gets lighter because you drink the water from your bag, every single day that bag feels heavier, no matter how light it gets. By the 3rd day, that bag feels like 100 pounds. So something you may want to consider is a water wicking towel. It's a small foldable towel that opens up really big, but it's very thin. It's not made to dry you off, it's made to wick the water. It'll help get the bulk of water off you so you can dry. You may also want to consider an inflatable pillow for sleeping at night, because if it's too cold and you have to wear all your clothes at night to stay warm, then you're not going to have any kind of a pillow except for a very uncomfortable backpack to try and get a night's sleep. And you don't have very much sleep, so you are going to want to try and get some if you can. I recommend a very thin inflatable pillow. It's super small and lightweight. You can just couple of puffs of air in there, and now you have a pillow and a little bit of comfort to sleep. When you're done, squish the air out and throw it in your backpack. I wish I brought mine, and I didn't. And I ended up having to wear all my clothes to sleep because it got very cold, and the pillow would have been very nice. If there's a recommendation of a comfort item, I would bring the small pillow. Last couple of things on the list are Ziploc bags. I would throw at least a few. 4 or 5 Ziploc bags, just roll them up and throw them in your bag. You can use them to put some extra little items. We brought some coffee mate and some sugar and some coffee. Lucky enough, our porters had boiled water up there, and we had hot tea or hot coffee about 2 times a day, so it was really nice. But we had our sugar and our creamer and that with us, because you're just going to get black coffee likely, and they may not have sugar. So I would recommend bringing that. Plus a few extra Ziploc bags. You can keep things in it like your cell phone or your phone cords so they don't get rusty if it rains. And you can also keep emergency things like toilet paper. The last item on the list. Do not go without the toilet paper. At the top of the hill, bathroom luxury is not something you will experience on Mount Rinjani. You are going to be in a little tiny tent in which the door likely does not zip closed. You are going to be doing the old Hindu squat and taking a dump in a hole while somebody stands beside you and holds up a towel or a curtain or something so everybody can't watch you poop. It's not going to be a wonderful experience, and there may not be toilet paper. Our guides did have some, but if you have a bad day, some may not be enough. So I recommend just bring 1 full roll of toilet paper, squish it down, stuff it in a Ziploc bag. I even rolled off a little bit and left it in my side pocket for emergencies on the trail, which happened. It can happen. But all in all, that's my entire packing list. Again, this is going to vary depending on person. You are going to have a different packing list than me. The next person is going to have a different packing list than you. You have to tailor this to yourself. This guide is a baseline of what I think you should bring and what you will need. So now you can make an informed decision of what you will bring with you. If you would like to see what it's like firsthand on Mount Rinjani, you can check out our other video where we take you through a comprehensive overview of exactly what it's like to hike Mount Rinjani. And if you got value out of this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.